Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Y'all, let's do some fun crafting, and then I have some really awesome news to share with you. Stay tuned. So I have this little guy out because he is a part of what we're going to go over today. Not the actual craft itself, but this is just going to be a helpful DIY way to get this look. So that's the first thing that I'm going to go over. Then I'll share some really awesome news with you guys, and then we will craft. So make sure you stick around. So when I made these door hangers using pre-existing Dollar Tree door hangers, I received so many compliments and so many comments because so many of you wanted to be able to make this, but you either did not have access to a Dollar Tree or your Dollar Tree did not have this particular door hanger. And that's okay, because what I am going to show you really quick is how to make your own if you don't have access to a Dollar Tree or your Dollar Tree doesn't have this item. Now the one that I made is a little bit smaller, but we're going to make one that's a little larger and you will get the gist of the process. I am not going to decorate this because I simply want to show you an easy way to make your own door hanger if you want to make these for your home as well. So what I am starting with is an 11 by 5 piece of chipboard, and mine is a medium weight. You can use a heavy weight for this. You could even double up on 2 medium weights if you wanted to, but I found that using this medium weight gives me a door hanger that will support the weight that I would put on it. So 11 by 5 is what I'm starting with, and here is how I'm going to get my shape. So I am just going to take a circle, and what I'm doing is I am positioning that circle so that it meets the end here and it meets the end here. And then I'm just going to take my pen, and starting at the halfway point over here, I am just going to trace out that circle. Just like that. So then the way that I'm going to get my inside circle is I basically want to find another circle to place on the inside that's smaller than the one that I put. And the one that I think I'm going to go with is this ribbon. So all I'm going to do at this point is take my pen and trace out this circle around to where I want it. Now I didn't have to come all the way around, because at this point all I'm going to do is start here and curl down, and I'm just freehanding that. So when I start cutting, I am going to cut from right here around, and I'll cut on the outside as well. So you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So I'm just going to take these scissors, and these are some old Dollar Tree scissors that I bought, but I actually like using them on chipboard because they cut through it very well. So all I'm doing is removing the excess chipboard. You don't have to be exact, and just turn the chipboard as you go around. So I am going to remove some of that. Then to get in on the inside, I am going to use my finger blade, but you can still use scissors if you want, but I need to use my finger blade here because I'm going to have more control with that than I actually do with scissors. So all I did is I'm following the trace coming around, and I'm just doing this in sections. All right, so once you have it cut out, you just need to come back in and clean up the large overhang The rest of it, we are going to use our nail file block to clean this up. So let's just clean up the larger pieces. And then once I have that done, I am going to use my block, and I need to get a new one out because this one is starting to get worn down. But if you just take this and go along your edges, you can clean this up to where it really is acceptable to be able to work with it in your door hanger crafting. So all we do is we just keep cleaning up, removing any unnecessary overhang, get this looking the way that you want. And I am just going to clean up a little bit more. And so now, guys, you can see that we have something that very closely resembles this one. Now mine isn't as long, but you could actually make yours up to 12 inches long if you're using chipboard. If you don't want one as long as this one was actually about 14, maybe 15 inches long. If you don't want one that's this long, you can certainly cut your own out of chipboard. And this is just another alternative to be able to get the look of this when you don't have access to a Dollar Tree, or you don't have these at the Dollar Tree in your neighborhood. So hopefully this quick little demonstration has helped some of you who might want to make door hangers but don't have what you need in terms of the door hanger platform to begin with. So now on to my really big news. So yesterday, I completed my very first ever podcast. I was invited to be on the Positively Joy podcast, and it's hosted by Yvette. And it was an absolute joy, for lack of a better word, to do the podcast. And I am going to have a link to the podcast in the description box. I encourage you guys to go out and listen to the podcast. First of all, she is a phenomenal interviewer, and she really put me at ease because I've never done a podcast before, and I was a little bit nervous before I went into it, but I very quickly found my groove and felt at ease because she is that great of an interviewer. And then the second reason why you want to definitely listen to this podcast is because you'll get to know a little bit more about me than you know from just the actual videos itself. You'll get to know a little bit about what inspires me as a crafter, what motivates me, and just some general views on my outlook on life and things that are happening in current events. So I'll have that link in the description box, and if I'm able to link it to the end of this video, I will. I think there is a way that I can provide a link within the actual video itself. So I'll do that as well, because you guys go out and support her, but also you'll learn a little bit more about your girl than I actually share when I'm doing my projects on the channel. So check it out. It's the Positively Joy podcast, link in the description box, and I'll try to link it to the video. Okay guys, so that was my good news, and I am just so excited. So I hope that you'll take a few minutes and listen to the podcast. I think it's actually about 45 minutes, but I hope that you'll find it interesting. Now, for today's project, here it is. It is a very large milk carton, and I styled it for men. And this milk carton was requested by quite a few of you. You wanted to know how to make a larger milk carton without having to join a whole bunch of papers together. So the way that I did that, we are again going to use one of the pieces of white poster board that I got from the Dollar Tree. And then we're going to use this Hobby Lobby wrapping paper. So the crafting that we're going to be doing today, guys, is going to be extremely economical and extremely easy to do because when we're finished, this whole project is going to cost us less than $1 to make this. Now y'all tell me, can you go in the store and purchase something that looks like this for less than $1? I don't think so. But does this look like a less than $1 item? Nope. So we are going to make this, and this is what we do on the channel. We are making things that look oh so posh, oh so stinking cute, and in this case, for pennies. So let's make it. All right, guys, so to make this super awesome project, we are going to be using one of the 11 by 14 poster boards that I got from the Dollar Tree. You could even cut down a piece of poster board if you want. You don't have to purchase these if you have poster board. Cut them down to 11 by 14, and then I'm going to hold this up so that those of you who do the metric system, they have the metric already measured out for you on here. So if you want to go ahead and trim your own board, that's fine. So then I have a piece of Christmas wrapping paper, and I just took this wrapping paper off of a roll, and that is what we're going to cover this with. So I'm going to go outside and spray mine, and I am going to place it down on my paper. Now I made my paper bigger so that I wouldn't have to worry about trying to be exact on my placement. So I'm going to go spray this, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have my spray on the back of my poster board, and I am going to just take it and place it down. I am going to try to get it straight because this is a plaid print, but if I don't get it straight, you know, no worries. Nothing is perfect. And then I'm going to use my big old spatula as an iron because my paper still had wrinkles in it, but my spatula is wide enough to get the wrinkles out. And this spatula is by We Are Memory Keepers. I got it from Tuesday Morning, but I understand that there are baker's tools that spread dough that will work just as well. I have been told that there are things at the Dollar Tree, there are things in the home improvement stores that will also work for this. So I just thought I'd pass that along. So now what I need to do is I am simply going to trim at the edges to remove the excess paper and have my beautifully decorated board ready to craft. And unlike the napkins, you really have to trim this piece and not tear it, because you might tear the actual paper on the board as well if you tug it too hard. So just take your time and go around the edges and remove the excess paper. And again, we're starting out very economically with our crafting because we are using one piece of the poster board, so that's 25 cents because you got 4 in the pack. Then I'm using a roll of wrapping paper that I got at Hobby Lobby last year, 90% off, and it was $6.99 original. So I got it for 90% off, and it's a huge roll. And anyone who knows anything about Hobby Lobby's wrapping paper, their wrapping paper really is a great quality paper to work with. So isn't that pretty? I mean, look at how that looks. So now that we have it, we are ready to craft it. So this paper makes it perfect as a gift for him, like I said before, but you can take the same concept and use it to make an any season, any reason, any gender craft. But I am using this for Christmas because I wanted to make a large box that we could fill with all types of goodies to give to him. And we are going to score this. We're going to start at 4.5, at 6.5, 11, And then because I am out of space, the mark that I just made at 11, I am going to move this over because, as you guys know, most of the scoreboards, especially the one that I'm working with, will only handle 12-inch scores. So what I did was I moved that last mark that I made at 11, I moved that over to 8 so that I could score again my 2-inch mark. So I'll score at 10. So basically what we did was a 4.5-inch body front, a 2-inch side, a 4.5-inch body back, and a 2-inch side, and then we'll have our glue flap. So then once we have that, we're going to take this and turn it to the 11-inch side, and we're going to score this at 3 1/4. And because we need to flip it, I'll just flip it to the opposite side. So then when I flip it, I'll put it in and score at 3 1/4 until it meets. So then I want to come to the 7.5-inch mark, and I am going to make another score all the way down, but then I'm going to need to flip it and score again at 7.5 inches on the opposite side until it meets. Then I have my score at 7.5. I want to make my next score at 9.5. And I'll flip it. And I'm going to score at 9.5 again until it meets. And now we can fold and burnish all of our scores. And I get a lot of questions about why do I make so many boxes? And the reason why I make so many boxes is because we need boxes. If you go into the store, the reason why they sell so many boxes is because we need so many boxes for all occasions. And anyone who's ever had to buy a box in the store, you know that they aren't cheap to purchase. But we don't have to buy them anymore because we are paper crafters and we can make our own. So we have our shape all defined, and what we need to do down here at the bottom, we're going to have a corner piece that we just need to remove completely. So, and cut that out. And then where we have our narrow panels here, not the first row, but the second row, you've got a narrow here and a narrow here. Guys, this is where we're going to make the triangles so that this will fold easier. And all I'm doing, I'll show you in just a second, is I'm going inside of that triangle, finding my center point, and then I'm connecting it to the corner score mark. So I am just going to trace this so you guys can see what I did. And I drew my triangle right in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to condition that paper to fold. So we have this one here, and we need to do the same thing. So just place your ruler inside, try to get it center here, and then you're going to go to the corner point of that same panel, that score mark, and you're going to have your triangles. Okay, so now that we have our triangles scored in, I am going to go along the bottom here and just cut out all of my tabs. And then once I have my tabs cut out, I am just going to angle these just a little bit to make it easier to put this carton together. And guys, one thing that I noticed after I had done it was that I actually cut my bottom tabs too long. So instead of coming in at 3.5, I should have cut them at 2, and I didn't. So I went back and I trimmed them off. So your first score on the 11-inch side is going to be at 2. So at this point, now we can put it together. This is our glue flap. So all I need to do is take my glue, place it on the flap, and I am going to fold this over the way you guys always see me do, and I'm going to make sure that my score marks meet from one side of the glue flap to the other. And that's very important, otherwise your box isn't going to be aligned properly and it won't sit right. So I am going to just give this a really good burnishing. And now I can stand this up, fold this in, fold that one back, but before I do, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on this, and I'll fold that piece in, and then I'll fold this piece. And so now, because I've made those indentions on the side, I can take my box and just press it closed. And now you can see we have a very cute box. And this box would be absolutely awesome filled with some chocolate chip cookies or some other goodies for him. And I love the look of this paper because it's not feminine at all, which means that if we wanted to dress it up with some lace and some ribbon, we can make it feminine. But today, we're going to keep ours more in line with how we would dress a bag or a box for a man. So here we have our larger milk carton for men, and I am going to close this one completely. Some of you are going to say, why are you closing this when there's nothing in it? Because I'm making it for demonstration purposes, and sometimes I'll make things when I'm on the channel that have no purpose other than to show you guys how I would actually make it. So the way that I am going to close this is when I close my milk cartons permanently, I place glue there, I place glue here, and if it's a milk carton that will open like a milk carton so that something can be poured out, I'll only place glue on one side. But in this case, because I would actually be placing some goodies in this one, I am going to close it completely. Now you don't have to do this. You can close yours with a clothespin. It's completely up to you. I am choosing to close this one this way. So please don't leave me comments saying you should not have done that. Guys, when you're making it, do it however you want. You really don't have to follow what I'm doing exactly. This is just a blueprint, and you can modify that blueprint however you need for it to work for you. So I have got this already done. This is too thick for me to actually run through my crimper because it is poster board. So I am not going to run it through the crimper, and that's going to be okay. But the next thing I am going to do is I am going to take one of my sweet little pieces of ephemera. I am going to put just a dab of glue on the back of that, place it there, might angle that just a little bit, just like that. And then I made this ribbon out of twine, and I am just going to put a little bit of glue on the back, and I'll take my ribbon and I am going to put that ribbon on there just like that, and I'll hold it down until that glue dries. And now you can see we have a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, large milk carton that we can fill with all types of goodies. This one I decorated for him, but remember, any season, any reason, any gender. And guys, this does not film well, but this is so stinking cute, and you can see how big it actually is. And when you cut out the bottom at 2 instead of 3.5, your box is going to be even taller than this one is right now. So our finished box is 7.5 by 4.5 by 2. When you give the additional 1 1/2 inch, because you won't be scoring at 3.5, you'll be scoring at 2 on the bottom, your box will go to 9 inches. And that's going to be a pretty large box. And so one other thing that I wanted to show you guys really quick is how I made that ribbon bow. Some of you have seen me actually do this, but some of you are new to the channel, so I'll just show you how I make the twine bow. I said ribbon, but it's twine. And I get this twine at the Dollar Tree, $3 for $1. So all I'm going to do is take this much and leave it hanging right here. Then I'll take my 4 fingers, because I want the bigger loop. If I wanted a smaller loop, I would use 2 or 3 fingers. And I'm just going to wrap this all the way around until these two are almost even, but they're close enough. So once I have it like that, I am going to take it off of my finger and I'll pinch it closed. That first tail that I created, just leave it hanging. The second tail, that was the last one that I was wrapping, wrap it around the middle once. Then once you've wrapped it around, take that tail and loop it through that wrapped piece and pull. But don't pull it tight, otherwise you'll make it unravel. So just pull it tight enough that you get a bow shape. And then you'll have this sweetheart of a little twine bow that you can then use in your paper crafting, and you can have awesome bows like this. You could also come back and put a pearl dot in the center here, but I'm not, because I dressed this up for a man, so I'm not going to add that little piece of bling, even though it is acceptable to add little pieces of bling to things that we make for men. So before I go, don't forget the podcast. I will have that linked in the description box below. So guys, I hope that you have liked this project. And if you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.